Okay, so on reincarnation, you know, some of the things that you can go in if you're trying to understand more about it, and I've said this a bunch of times, and there could be more stuff, and people should share it. If you hear me say something, you're like, oh, I know more about it from this or this source or whatever, share those sources, because anybody who is really interested would appreciate that. When people are trying to do the research and understand, because you can't go in and just do something because someone tells you. You have to learn it. You have to understand it. It's about the experience. It's not about just, getting to be the winner. Oh, I'm saved. I'm not a vegan, or I'm a vegan, so I've raised my vibration. That kind of stuff drives me so fucking crazy. The only way you're going to raise your vibration is healing. I mean, all you got to do is, when you've got something that's heavy, it's heavy on your soul. It just feels like a monkey on your, it's just like the heaviest weight. Just carrying the world, and just, you've got those going around and around in your head, just beating you down and telling you how stupid you are, and just, and then when you go in and you face how stupid you are, you accept yourself for not being perfect, you accept your stupid parts of yourself, and you vow to yourself to learn as much as you can from each stupid mistake, then all of a sudden it's like lighter. It's like, man, I can kind of move my head now. I don't feel so tense. Oh my gosh, I feel so much lighter, And then you do more and more and more, and pretty soon you are like buoyant. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't feel weighted down. I don't feel weighted down at all. I feel good, man. I feel happy. I feel freaking healthy. And that's the raising your vibration. I mean, you don't have to have me tell you. Just go experience it. You'll feel. The raising your vibration comes from healing yourself. It comes from facing yourself. It comes from loving yourself. That is what it is. There is no like quick, easy way. Just like they tried to sell, like, just say, it doesn't matter. You could be a mass murderer. But the moment you're about to die, if you just say, Jesus is my savior, you're good, man. You're gold. Don't fucking worry about shit. Yeah, what? And how many people bought into that? Apparently a lot. And there are some people who do, like get like, oh, there's a higher source. There's something bigger than me. There's something that has created everything. There's a reason. There's a purpose to all this. There's people who still have that inside of them. And, but religion was really kind of like the only outlet. If you tried, like I said before, if you tried to go outside of there, like now it's more accepted, but oh my gosh. Yeah, back when I started reading about reincarnation and talking about spirituality, oh my gosh. I mean, people lock you up. And besides, you're an antichrist at that point. If you try and say like, yeah, but no, you're going against the word of God. God himself told those people what to write down. And nobody's messed with that. I mean, whoever told me about it, they got it right, man. I'm going to do exactly what they said. Well, what about if you just go in and you ask God yourself? If you go and you're going to go do something, what if you just ask God yourself? What about getting in touch with God yourself? And the whole thing is that is inside of all of us. We all have that inside of us, because we all have the little piece of God, our soul, this little energetic essence of self that is in every single person. That is God. The God has expanded himself. It was like the Big Bang, when they talk about that in the development, the source of all. Like, if you think of like God as being like this energetic ball, and it's just so excited, but then just explosion into all of these souls, and to get to that point, like we're going into this right now, because there starts being so much like how people are becoming more expansive in their perspective and stuff. Then that leads to the creation of new. So it goes into that, this excited energy, and it expands to go out. It creates new universes. It creates new planets. It creates souls just all over the place. That God just created that, put that out there. You yourself are one of those bits. Not your body. Your body's just like the trees and nature and stuff. And what is fascinating too, when you think about your body is 98% water or something, like, and we're just held together. Like, it's pretty trippy when you start really thinking about like matter and in the creation and how we're here, how we got into these bodies. The whole thing is it's very fascinating. And seeing that's a personal journey to go out and to explore those things and get an understanding that is on your level, because you'll understand things to whatever level you are in your your life experiences in your reincarnation cycle. And so, maybe when they talk about these new souls or whatever, maybe it was from a more recent kind of expansion. Maybe there's souls that were from ones long ago. We have this constant moving in the solar system. Everything is alive. Everything is alive. And so, there was souls who were at one level. And this is the thing about the ascending and descending. So if you think about like with reincarnation, you have, this essence that becomes you. It's consciousness. So there's the expansion, like the Big Bang goes, and all this energy just bursts out, and it just goes everywhere. It can become, planets, stars, all this stuff. And then the consciousness starts to ask itself, what am I? And then it can start to evolve, but it has to get to that point of what am I? So that's like where you can have, like I talk about it, like the sludge. Like you've got this just heavy, deep, dark energy that's like sludge. I say that is, it's around us all over the place, especially in a place like this where it's a very dense energy. And it is energy that hasn't quite, got itself conscious yet. A lot of people think of it as like devils and demons and stuff like that. It hasn't reached a certain state of consciousness. It's just a certain energy, like a negative energy, like a dark energy. And it has no identity, so it will follow you around. It will attach to you if you pull that energy towards you. And that's how these people get these ideas that they've got demons and stuff on them. When you're pulling that energy, it's attaching to you because it has no identity really. And then you're feeding off that energy. It's feeding you. And, if an energy is just that, like a motion. It hasn't even, realized itself yet. It hasn't begun to even start going into doing reincarnation and stuff. It's just energy that hasn't really realized. And there's going to be good and negative. There's going to be positive and negative. There's got to be all. Like, if you just threw every emotion out there in the world, and they all got their own little capsule, their own little energetic source, and they're all out there just looking for something to attach to. That's why you've got to be focused on what you want to come to you. Because if you're focused on what you don't want, you've got all of that energy that attaches to you. And it's magnetic. It just pulls more and more. You've got yourself in like a black vacuum hole of negativity. And that's why I talk about like different ways that you can break those cycles and, release that energy. And, there's a lot of people, there's people out there that can tell you like different ceremonies and stuff. And, it's, for some people, it's going to be a big job. There's going to be a lot that they have to work through and release. But so when you have these souls, and so at different times in history, and you got to remember this, the whole giant solar system out there, like the whole world is out there. And so a soul, when it becomes an understanding of self. Like it starts to see like, oh, I am, I can. And it starts to become like a more of a representation, and it starts to realize itself. It starts to know it can make choices. And then it starts through like this education system, say, and the education system starts beginning to show them, like you go in and it's like going in and playing parts, like in a play, because you go in and you learn through experience, and that creates expansion, it creates realization. And that's why, so many things, like people hear, I'll hear stories that I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is so horrible. Like, why do souls put themselves through that? Like, like some things are really, really horrible, but there's nothing a soul goes through that the soul didn't decide for itself. You're not forced into life. You're not forced into experience. You choose it. And what I believe is because our dead life is our real life. This isn't our real life at all. This isn't even, this is like a tiny little grain of sand on an entire beach, on the whole country of beaches. This is very, very nothing in the whole realm of things. The whole purpose of it is so you can learn, so you can expand, so you can become more. So you go through these cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles, go through these education system as you will, as a soul, to realize itself, to understand more about itself, to understand experience, to understand how it reacts in different experiences, to understand how different people react in different experiences, because it's an expansion of self. And so as you expand yourself, then you get to certain times where there is like a graduation. So you've gone through all of these experiences and you're ready for graduation or a harvest or ascension or whatever. You're ready to move up. Like you've conquered it, you mastered it. So now you're ready for the next classes. And so then when you expand, then the beautiful thing that we're going to get, that's coming up that, we don't know if everybody, you won't get it if you don't wake up. So if you remain asleep, then that's what your soul came here to do, to maybe teach other people. And, we see that happening. Or they came, for this whole split earth thing. The thing, like, there's some of that stuff where I'm constantly questioning, like, okay, how would that work? Like, okay, so if the rapture is going to take all these people and stuff like that, but it also says that the dead will be back living with the alive. So, no matter what, somehow we all come back together to continue this experience. And a part of this experience will be about, I just saw a thing. One of the things, because we already know about the med beds and the technology and stuff, and that it can prolong our life. But one thing too, and we already know about the earth, and when the event happens, when this solar flash thing happens, and it's going to move the earth in our solar system, and the sun and the moon, like all this stuff is going to be moving. That what was it that person said? Hold on, let me think. Because they said something. This is what drives me crazy. It's the word thing and the forgetting thing that is drives me the most crazy for a brain injury. For mine, because some people have so many more things to deal with. What was it? So when the solar system, so when it does the expansion, it'll come back to me. Anyways, so when you go and you go through all of this cycle. Oh, but one of the things too, so to go to this next, the next step in our evolution as souls, then you will, you'll have a lot more power and stuff. Oh, it was something with the medical. Yeah, the technology, because the technology is so much further advanced. Oh, so when the Earth moves, it's going to, there's going to be something about the slowing its rotation or something, which I don't really get how the planet is moving at all, because I don't know how the sun is over my porch and now all of a sudden it's over here. Well, then wouldn't it just go right back over? I mean, I don't know. There's something just as weird about it. Like, I've listened to some of those flat earth people, and they make a lot of good points. I wouldn't go through and say I know any of the stuff. I don't know if it's flat. I don't know if it's round. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if we're in a dome. I don't know. I just know what we're here for, and that's to learn. So when you when it moves or whatever's going to happen, that it's going to slow it down, our time, and so it's going to be you're going to live way longer. You're not going to age the same. It's going to be completely different. And then I've talked about the med beds, and one of them is that they anti-age you back. I think they can go 20 or 25 years. It might even be 30 or 35. I think it's 30 because, yeah, no, it's 25. Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, I'll be back to being 35 years old, like in shape-wise. You know, like your cells and stuff will go back to being in that kind of condition. It's like, man, I've been taking care of myself. Like, I think that there's like two different things during quarantine. Like I said, to me, if maybe in prison, I'm going to go for, I'll do prison shape. Start doing, you know, push-ups on the floor and sit-ups and stuff like that. And there's other people that just were like, just didn't take care of themselves at all. Just are, you know, going into this time right now, and if not taking care of yourself and not have your immune system built up and stuff, it's going to be a struggle. I mean, they can make up whatever fake names they want and call it whatever they want on the news, but they're releasing toxins. They're doing everything they can to get you sick. So you got to take care of yourself 100%. Yeah, I mean, they've got a system full of people who think the big pharma is the answer to their Jesus dying on the cross, and big pharma is the answer to everything. So so if you think about these cells, from like you think about, I mean, these souls, from think of expansions happened a long time ago. Like I've talked about, I know I have memories of lives that were a long time ago. Like when I came back in this life, I was completely consumed with Egypt and Atlantis when I was little. And so I think that your soul will recognize certain places and things. You know, you'll know you had lives at different times. Like I knew that aliens were part of the pyramids. I couldn't even understand how some of the stuff, I don't know, it feels like to me it is like when your soul knows and you try and tell people and they can't wrap their head around it. It's very weird. It's very weird. But so you think about souls that were born then, which I think I am, and there's tons and tons and tons here. And so they've gone through those cycles. You get to a certain point, you have a certain understanding. Then it gets to this time in our age where it's going to do another expansion like that. So all these souls come back down so that they can bring knowledge forward, because the only way to be able to expand and to have more abilities is to have this awakening, this acknowledgement of self, to learn and to be in the kind of place that you can have more powers or something. So you can access more abilities when you are of a higher kind of vibration. Like, I mean, we wouldn't want some of these people in low vibration who just, you know, think the answer is murder and mayhem and stealing and crime and stuff like that. We wouldn't want those energies to go and be able to, you know, use just their brain to do stuff. So, you know, that's why there has to be this harvest You have to pick a side. You have to focus on, if you want to focus on bad things and crime, fine. That your soul can keep doing that for however long. I mean, you got a freaking infinity. If you're into that, and, there's plenty of ones that want to come and do that kind of shit. There's other worlds to go out and do it. But there's other ones that, we're here to talk about how to feel good, how to raise your vibration, how to have a better understanding of yourself, to learn how to have more mastery over self. So that is, and that is where, you ascend, but then you descend to come back to ascend again. And I mean, there's souls that, who knows how many times they've done this throughout history. I mean, how do we know? I mean, the stuff I say of how a soul is, that does make sense to some people. I mean, as far as they're concerned, there was somebody in the sky who was making things out of a rib or something. And, but that to me it's like a symbolic, it's like a three-dimensional story to try and help you to envision something. But I don't know, they didn't talk in the same kind of way. They talked in, I don't know, in analogies or something. And I don't think it's supposed to be taken so literal. But anyways, once you expand yourself, the whole thing is to help others expand. And I believe that when you are in your dead life and you are creating your life, you got your people, together, because life in your dead life is more real than this life. I mean, it's real. Like, people think like, oh, well, how could it be real? I'm telling you, when I left my body, I was the exact same. There was nothing different. I didn't think different. I didn't feel different. Nothing. So your body is kind of a manifestation of who you are inside. I think that's why, like in reincarnation, one of the things is that people, when they've had like kids who are born and they start telling a story about different life, there's actually parents who've gone and investigated, found the other people's families. And when you look at the picture of the kid and the person who they were before, it's the same eyes. You will always look kind of like you. You could be a little bit different, like if you're a boy or a girl or whatever, but you are making you. So anyways, when the people are anyways, people are here right now to help people to ascend by giving a higher conscious way of thinking of things. And the whole reason anybody would know is because you experienced it. That's why it can be so weird right now. Like when you can tell something to somebody and they just are like, no. So, yeah, I can see, how some people aren't ready to expand. I don't know, maybe whatever the event that happens prior to the big one, it's not going to be the big one that is going to wake everybody up. Because from what I've understood about that is it's going to be it's going to be very, very intense. There's going to be people who wouldn't even be able to be on the planet when it happens. So I don't think it's going to be that. I think there's going to be something else that's going to be happening real soon. That's going to be so outrageous that it's going to really make people start to question their reality. Once those people start questioning reality and you get this choice, which direction am I going to go? Am I going to go in the way of expansion, learning about myself, healing myself, taking care of myself, connecting with something higher than self, which is self, or am I going to just, live in the muck and just, continue to do shitty things to people? So, I've been like almost talking 25 minutes. Hopefully, I got some stuff in there to help, but all of the books, any of the books that you go and don't just read one. If you're going to read any of those ones, like near-death experiences, don't just go read one about a little kid who went to heaven and stuff like that. Go read ones like Dr. Moody. He's got so many, and there's so many more people who are studying it. There's that one doctor who's studying about kids being born who are coming and telling about their life, like the one I just talked about. There is a guy who's studying it, who is going and researching it, and he's got fascinating stuff. I can't think of his name, but if you go and look up, like, the studies on children speaking about past lives, or reincarnation studies on kids or whatever, you'll find it. And but Moody's a good one. I liked Shirley MacLaine's books. They're but see, I started a long time ago, back when it was crazy. I'm sure there's so much more information now, but don't just read one person's idea. You need to read a whole bunch, because you're going to understand things on whatever level your soul is on. And it's no shame, wherever anybody is. I mean, are you going to tell somebody in second grade, well, shame on you. You shouldn't be in second grade. I mean, this person over here is graduating. That doesn't matter about that. I mean, just remember, this stuff matters about as much as one pebble of sand. So all the stuff that they want to try and get you to think matters doesn't matter. Just focus on yourself. Take your time the best you can while you've got it. Appreciate the time you have. Work on self. And, that's raising your vibration. That's expanding yourself. That's connecting with self. So, I don't know. Hopefully some of the stuff I made sense that I was talking about. But anybody is always welcome to ask any kind of questions. There's so much information out there, and just start looking into stuff if you're really trying to understand, what is going on here, and you're just being misled by everything. So, okay, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.